All right, what's up, guys? I'm coming to you live from Tampa. Well, maybe not live, but hey, it's the best we're going to get because I'm not live streaming today. But as you guys know, some breaking news coming out. There's some talk about Dan Bongino, Deputy Director of the FBI, as well as Kash Patel, the Director of the FBI, stepping down from incompetence from Bondi, sorry. And basically, let me go ahead and explain kind of what's going on. As you guys know, Jeffrey Epstein, the billionaire that was backed by Les Wexner, we all know that he was an asset for the Israeli government intelligence. And long story short, the files were supposed to be declassified. We're supposed to get the client list and all this other stuff. Never came out, and the DOJ sent out a sparse letter basically saying something along the lines of, oh, hey, nothing to see here, no client list, and he killed himself, right? Which we all know is bullshit, right? And it makes it even worse because a lot of the people from the Trump administration didn't believe the original story either. So for them to now be in positions of power, high levels of the Department of Justice and FBI, and to come out and say, oh yeah, nothing to see here, looks really bad. CNN's been beating up the Trump administration about this. ABC, all the liberal media have been, running with this and kind of saying like, look, MAGA had all these conspiracy theories. Now they're coming out and saying that there's nothing to see here. So this is really bad. Now, from the Bongino and Kash Patel perspective, this makes them look really bad because keep in mind, Bongino is a very respected podcaster in the conservative space. He said it himself that he wasn't going to let go of this Epstein case thing. So for the DOJ to release this letter, he feels as though they were kind of blindsided. Because just so you guys know, with the U.S. government, DOJ is here, FBI is here. And a lot of the times, the DOJ can do things without the FBI necessarily being involved or knowing. So if they release a letter saying, hey, we're kind of shutting this thing down, that could catch the FBI off guard. Now, the other thing I think that's also important for you guys to understand is that when it comes to this Epstein thing, let me be honest with y'all, we're never going to get it. And the reason why is because when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, there's going to be a criminal case, which we already know about with him and Ghislaine Maxwell, but there's also going to be a high side. And since he was an intelligence asset for a foreign government, I guarantee you there's probably going to be a bigger CIA file on him than an FBI file. And the reason why is because CIA focuses more on international intelligence and counterintelligence versus the FBI focuses on domestic. So the FBI just has one piece of the pie, but the reality is all the different components of the intel community are going to more than likely have a file on Epstein. And getting that stuff is extremely bureaucratic and painful. Trust me, I know, being a former government agent with a clearance. Now, that's not to absolve responsibility from the FBI or the DOJ, but I do think it's important for the American public to understand that the FBI is only going to have a piece of the pie. But they couldn't even bring their piece of the pie to the equation and declassify and show what was really going on. And this is just an L on the entire government. And the reality is, it took us, 60 plus years to get the JFK files? Guys, we're not going to get the Epstein files within the next 40 to 50 years, to be honest with y'all, because there's people that's probably still alive. Obviously, this is a very tumultuous time for Israel, the state. They're in the middle of a war. Their approval ratings are at the lowest they've ever been. So there's no way they're releasing these files. And, you add in someone like Pam Bondi, who's incompetent, Kristi Noem, etc. Let's be honest, man. These are bimbos that got their positions more because they're loyalists and because they're women than them being competent. Because when Trump was on the campaign trail, he was constantly being accused of being a misogynist, a sexist, a bigot. So appointing women to positions of power within his cabinet, would kind of absolve him of those criticisms. But the reality is that these women are bimbos, right? Kristi Noem's more concerned with dressing up and looking good and pointing fucking rifles at ICE officers. And Pam Bondi is more interested in doing Fox interviews where she's saying, it's on my desk to be reviewed. And then when it does get reviewed, nothing gets released. So that's kind of what's going on. So basically, Bongino's furious. He took the day off. They're talking about he's contemplating resigning. So is Kash Patel, and they're both not happy with Pam Bondi, according to multiple different sources. I think Laura Loomer broke the story first, so I'll give her credit. But multiple sources now are coming out saying that both of them aren't happy with it, and Bongino might resign as early as Monday, and Kash Patel might follow. So that's kind of what's going on, guys, here. This is a big blunder on the entire government, not just the FBI, because I'll tell you guys this, I guarantee you it's not just the Bureau that has information on Epstein. I would wager that the CIA probably has an even bigger file, given the nature of how he was collecting information for a foreign government, and that is the CIA's main jurisdiction. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that little update video. Sorry I'm not live. We're here in Tampa, hanging out. But that's the latest right now. If anything else comes up, I'll shoot another video for you guys. But anyway, love you guys. Peace.